Hi and welcome to E-ZTutoring. Today we're going to cover all the different types of functions and their graphs. Now, throughout the course of math, throughout all of Algebra 2 and pre-calculus, it is very good to be familiar with all these different types of graphs. They will definitely boost your math skills a lot. So the first type I'm going to go over is a constant graph where y is just equal to a number. So this is the constant one. In this case, all you will have on your graph is simply a horizontal line at 1 for y equals 1. So your constant graphs are just simply a straight line. Now, your next type is a direct variation. If you guys did see my video on variation, you'll know that a direct variation is where y and x are on the same level. An inverse variation is where x would be on the bottom. So let's suppose we have y equals 2x. The graph of this is just linear. It's a linear graph with a slope of 2. So it'll look something like this. Y equals 2x. Okay, and then next we will have the identity function. The identity function is where y is simply equal to x. They are the same exact thing. So in this case, we will have another linear graph, but with a slope of 1. Y equals x. All right, and then we will have the greatest integer function. Greatest, hope I'm not running out of room here. Integer. Did I run out? No, I didn't. And this is noted by y equals, then you have this weird looking symbol with x. So this is a very interesting function. The way this symbol works is it finds the next greatest integer. So if you're at 5.5, then the next greatest integer is 6. If you are at 5.01, it finds the next greatest one, which is 6, once again. So pretty much the way it'll look is you have all these steps. They're like ladders, like this, and they each have a hole on the end, and they just build up like so, just like that. And next up, we will have the absolute value graph, where y is equal to the absolute value of x. Now, I'm sure you guys know that absolute value makes anything inside there positive. So, for all the positive values of x, it will act just like y equals x. For all the negative values of x, instead of going this way, it makes all those values positive, so instead it will go this way. So an absolute value function will always look like a v. Y equals absolute value of x. Next one, quadratic. This is the core of Algebra 2. Y equals x squared. Anything with an x squared in it will always give you a U-shaped parabola. Anything that looks like this. Now, this U shape can either be going upwards or downwards, depending on whether or not x squared is negative. Never sideways, though, because then it's no longer a function, doesn't pass the vertical line test. All right, and next we have the square root function. Say y is equal to the square root of x. The square root of x simply looks like this. Now, you know that whenever you take the square root of a number, you get the plus and minus of that number. However, we don't graph the minus portion of those numbers because this would no longer be a function. Like I said earlier, it wouldn't pass that vertical line test. All right, and last but not least, we have rational functions. rational functions. Suppose we have y equals x plus 1 over x minus 1. So the way to graph this one is, I'm not going to dive too much into detail about graphing here, but an x over an x will give you a y, a horizontal asymptote of 1. And we will have a vertical asymptote of 1 as well. This is what makes the denominator 0. Like I said, don't want to dive too much into detail. You can take my word for it. So then over here, your graph will just simply follow these asymptotes like so. And it'll do the same thing down below like so. And your rational functions can be very different. You can have no x on the top, you can have x squared on the top, and every one of those will be different. But for the core of Algebra 2, these are the main functions you will be seeing throughout the class, and it is very, very important to be familiar with all of these. Alright, so I hope I helped you guys out by getting more familiar with these functions. For ACT or SAT help, be sure to visit my website, www.E-ZTutoring.com. Thank you guys, and have a good day.